Consider the scenario in which electric vehicles dominated the road a century ago. What if I told you that they nearly did? Find out why these pioneering electric cars, which were once the talk of the town, went from being popular to being forgotten. What can we learn from their failure, and how is this information influencing the current revolution in electric cars? Watch this space to learn about the fascinating past of electric vehicles and how they may alter transportation in the future. In the transportation industry, electric automobiles are frequently heralded as the future of transportation because they promise sustainability, efficiency, and a departure from dependence on fossil fuels. On the other hand, many people are unaware of the fact that this is not the first time that electric cars have captivated the imagination of the general public. Electric vehicles were competing with their gasoline-powered counterparts for the position of preeminent automobiles 100 years ago. In spite of the fact that they had initially promised to do so, they were ultimately unsuccessful in establishing a long-term presence in the automotive sector. This study investigates the factors that led to the failure of electric automobiles 100 years ago and provides meaningful conclusions for the electric vehicle revolution that is taking place today. The prospects of electric vehicles. Electric cars experienced a period of popularity in the latter half of the 19th century and the early 20th century, particularly among people who lived in urban areas. Because they were quiet, simple to run, and did not release any exhaust fumes, they were an excellent choice for the busy streets of the city. When compared to their gasoline counterparts, which frequently required manual cranking and regular repairs, these electric vehicles required a significantly lower level of maintenance. In contrast to the noisy and polluting internal combustion engine, electric automobiles appeared to be on the verge of bringing about a revolution in the transportation industry by providing a cleaner and more convenient alternative. The obstacles that electric cars must overcome. Electric vehicles confronted a multitude of obstacles, which finally resulted in their demise despite the fact that they were initially rather popular. One of the most significant challenges was the restricted range. Electric vehicles in their early stages were only capable of traveling a small fraction of the distance that gasoline-powered automobiles could cover on a single charge, which rendered them unsuitable for long-distance travel. Further restricting the appeal of electric automobiles for people who live in rural areas or who have longer commutes was the fact that charging infrastructure was almost non-existent outside of big cities. The high cost of electric cars was another key obstacle that needed to be overcome. The initial purchase price was much greater despite the fact that they required less maintenance than gasoline-powered automobiles over the course of their lifetime. During that time period, battery technology was both costly and complex, which resulted in an increase in the price of electric vehicles and made them unattainable for the typical consumer. Due to the restricted availability of charging stations, prospective purchasers were had to make investments in the infrastructure necessary for charging their electric vehicles at home, which further contributed to the entire cost. Constraints imposed by technology. However, the technology that was used to power electric cars a century ago was not even close to being ideal. In the early days, batteries were cumbersome, heavy, and had a restricted capacity for storing energy. Therefore, in order to fit big battery packs, electric automobiles frequently have to sacrifice passenger capacity and performance in order to accept them. In addition, charging periods were slow, with some models requiring several hours to fully recharge. These technological restrictions made it more difficult for electric cars to gain broad adoption, which in turn provided gasoline-powered vehicles an advantage over their electric counterparts. The ascent of automobiles powered by gasoline. During the time that electric cars were having trouble with issues such as range, pricing, and infrastructure, gasoline-powered vehicles continued to make progress and eventually became the dominant market. Both the discovery of enormous oil supplies and the developments in technology for internal combustion engines contributed to the increase in the affordability and efficiency of gasoline-powered automobiles. As a result of Henry Ford's invention of the assembly line, the mass production of automobiles became a reality. This resulted in further price reductions and made it possible for more people to buy cars. In addition, the establishment of a vast network of gas stations caused gasoline-powered automobiles to be more convenient and adaptable than their electric equivalents. The fact that motorists no longer had to be concerned about running out of fuel or locating a location to recharge their batteries made gasoline automobiles the vehicle of choice for customers who were looking for freedom and flexibility when driving on the open road. What we have learned and our legacy. Although they eventually went out of business, the legacy of electric cars from a century ago continues to live on. They continue to serve as a cautionary tale and a source of inspiration for the electric vehicle revolution that is taking place today. There is a striking resemblance between the issues that modern electric vehicles face and the challenges that doomed electric automobiles in the past. These challenges include limited range, high costs, and a lack of necessary infrastructure. Nevertheless, there are significant distinctions between the two this time around. As a result of expenditures in research and development, there have been significant advancements in battery technology which have led to a significant improvement in both the range and performance of electric vehicles. The business has been transformed by lithium-ion batteries in particular because they offer higher energy density, faster charging times, and longer lifespans than other types of batteries. Furthermore, the increasing awareness of climate change and the push for sustainability have created an environment that is more favorable for electric vehicles. Governments and automakers alike have invested in electrification efforts, which has created a more favorable environment for electric vehicles. Considering the rise and collapse of electric vehicles a century ago provides important context for understanding the complex interactions between market pressures, technological advancements, and cultural perceptions that influence the automobile sector. There was no denying the early promise of electric vehicles. They offered a peek at a more convenient and clean transportation system in the future. Yet, a combination of expensive prices, poor infrastructure, and a short range meant that electric cars were never able to become widely accepted. One of the main disincentives to early electric vehicles was their short range. They were perfect for quick urban journeys, but for longer trips, their limited range was no match for that of gasoline-powered vehicles. The absence of infrastructure for charging further increased this anxiety about range. In contrast to today, when charging stations for electric cars are more widespread, early adopters of electric cars had a difficult time locating locations for vehicle recharging. This made gasoline-powered vehicles, with their growing network of filling stations, a more sensible option for the majority of customers. One of the main obstacles to the economic adoption of electric vehicles was their high initial cost. The early batteries were costly to make in addition to being inefficient. As a result, buying an electric automobile now costs more than buying a gasoline-powered vehicle. Although electric vehicles required less upkeep over time, their initial expense acted as a major turnoff for many prospective purchasers. The cost was further increased by the requirement for home charging infrastructure, which further reduced the allure of electric vehicles for larger audiences. The demise of early electric cars was also significantly influenced by technological constraints. The batteries that were on the market at the time were big, heavy, and had little storage space. This affected the vehicle's overall performance in addition to reducing the amount of room available for passengers and freight. Many customers found these models unworkable due to their lengthy charging times. Some models required several hours to fully recharge. In contrast, because gasoline was widely available and internal combustion engine technology was advancing, gasoline-powered vehicles were becoming more dependable, efficient, and easy to refuel. Important breakthroughs in the industry significantly boosted the rise of gasoline-powered cars. Large oil deposits were found, and Henry Ford's mass production methods made gasoline-powered vehicles more widely available and reasonably priced. Ford's assembly line transformed the auto industry by significantly cutting production costs and enabling automobiles to be offered at prices that the typical consumer could afford. Because of this large production and a well-established network of gas stations, gasoline automobiles became the vehicle of choice for most people, pushing electric cars to the periphery. Even though they became less common, the first electric cars had a lasting impact. They paved the way for upcoming technology advancements and demonstrated the possibility for quieter, cleaner urban transportation. As we negotiate the present electric vehicle revolution, the lessons they learned from their failure are crucial. More than a century of scientific advances, such as the creation of lithium-ion batteries, which have a better energy density, quicker charging periods, and longer lifespans, are beneficial to today's electric cars. The range of performance problems that beset the first electric cars have been greatly resolved by these developments. In addition, the current emphasis on sustainability and the pressing need to combat climate change have improved the conditions for electric vehicles. Governments everywhere are investing in infrastructure for charging stations, enacting laws and incentives to encourage the use of electric vehicles, and establishing aggressive goals for cutting carbon emissions. Several automakers have announced plans to phase out internal combustion engines and actively invest in electric car technologies, demonstrating their commitment to electrification. The modern resurrection of electric vehicles signifies a societal movement toward more ecologically friendly and sustainable modes of transportation, not just a technical triumph. People are becoming more conscious of how fossil fuels affect the environment, and there is a general push to use renewable energy sources and reduce carbon footprints. In a way that was not feasible a century ago, this cultural revolution, along with technical and financial developments, sets electric vehicles for success. Don't miss out on the latest insights and updates about electric cars and the future of transportation. Subscribe now to stay informed and be part of the conversation as we explore the past, present, and future of electric vehicles.